Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy here. Good to be here on a Sunday in for Brittany Van Voorhees. Already, we have two comments. Angel, Joy, good morning to you. Both of you said the same thing. And it has been a dreary morning, to say the least. At times, you've seen a few bright spots, and now we're starting to fill in the gaps. And you can see actively here on our Monroe camera on top of the government center right in downtown. That is an active drop. Let's look at it slowly drip down the lens. Rain is starting to pick up wherever you look across the area, and this is only the beginning. More and more showers will continue, but I think it's really going to be a late morning heading into the early afternoon that we're anticipating this. Still cloudy skies here in Kannapolis. Right now it's 62 degrees. Hey, that graphic skipped me. Let's go back to that one. You are currently looking right now at temperatures in the lower 60s, but I don't think we're really going to see too much of a warm up in between. So we have the mid to the upper 60s that are possible by the end of the afternoon, but we're waiting a long time. I think it's until about 2, 3 o'clock that most of the rain's going to clear, but still a hit or miss shower, so possible mid to late afternoon. So let's get right to it. Here is what's happening actively right now on the radar. The graphics are taking their time trying to advance right now. You are looking at scattered rain really down to the south, seeing a shower just south of Monroe. Not seeing a lot of thunder and lightning with these, but I think that's going to change over the next hour. I think it's from 10 to 11 right now that we're filling in the gaps. We have a wide area that it hasn't really rained too much down in South Carolina. We dried out for a couple hours in some locations. That destabilized the atmosphere. So all that jazz that you're seeing off towards the west, south of Greenville, that eventually is going to rotate back into our area. So those areas down to the south that you're seeing, all that's going to fill in. So you're going to see a lot more rain. One thing that we look at as meteorologists is one, what's happening upstream, and number two, is that activity intensifying? Sometimes you can have rain that's heading towards your area and it's getting weaker and weaker. We're going to see the opposite. It's only going to get stronger and stronger as it gets closer and closer to Charlotte. So around Columbia, they're just seeing a few showers. They're about to see a whole lot more, especially off towards the east. So it's like right in that little area, that little purple area that you're seeing, that you're going to have the best potential for those storms to kind of regenerate. In general, our severe threats are going to be from Charlotte to the east. But the further east you go, the more activity that we're going to see. So that's why we have a low to a medium threat, all depending on where you are. So actively on the radar, we'll continue to see more and more storms. Here's a look at over the next 6 hours. Check this out. Notice that those storms, as they're rolling through, it really starts to couple together. It's rotating. That's around that low pressure system. They really get mean as they move through Charlotte. So I think it's east of Charlotte that not only do you have a chance for a thunderstorm, you even have a chance for an isolated tornado. So that's not a great start to the afternoon. And then the back side of this, between about 2 and 5, could have a ditch effort to allow for a little bit extra rain. So that's the general setup that you can expect. The areas in yellow, that's a low chance for severe storms, gets much higher closer to Raleigh and Fayetteville. The reason why we're seeing this is because of this big red L that's pushing through the area. We don't quite get the super warm air underneath it, but it's because of the division of that warm front, cold front underneath the low pressure system that's most unstable. So that's why you're going to see such a difference as far as all that is concerned. That's right underneath that low. By the way, if you have any questions, even specifically about your area, I'm ready to answer it as we're going through all this. But again, these graphics are taking forever to advance. That low pressure system is going to be fairly quick moving. I think that's the best move that I have for you. So that means that we can really expect that this is really going to be an in and out type of system. Meanwhile, you have that front that's behind it that's going to be filtering in some slightly cooler air heading into next week. So again, the main window of opportunity, I think, is the end of the morning, heading into the early afternoon as we're bypassing this system. And then eventually we're going to get this system out of here. And high temperatures are only going to be in the 60s about for the first part of next week. I'm just going to go advance the graphic because I'm not sure what's happening over here with the clicker. Hold on. There we go. That's much better for waiting everything to move along. So the next graphic that you're about to see is how we're breaking down our severe weather potential. If you're watching from Charlotte, I think any thunderstorm that you see could produce some winds anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour. Hail, less likely, but that's down to the south. Tornado threat, it's really from around Union County, Monroe, east thereof. So that's going to be the big deal there. Once you get over to the Raleigh area, you start to see that little orange slice just a little bit there on the winds graphic. That's where things really start to ramp up. That's where you're going to have peak what is called wind shear. And wind shear, we actually just did a weather IQ on it. So you can go to YouTube weather IQ and learn all about it. Wind shear is the increase of wind speed and direction with height or. But that doesn't guarantee that it's going to provide a rotating thunderstorm. And a rotating thunderstorm doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be a tornado. This graphic only has a 2% chance for our eastern viewing area. That means if there's 50 thunderstorms, only one of them likely would produce tornadic activity. But that threat tunes at about 1 in 20 the further east that you go. And the whole reason why we're pinpointing this is because you have enough twist, and what you're about to see is what's called our high resolution rapid refresh. You're going to have these little streaks that push across the area, and then most of those are going to be concentrated just southeast of the Charlotte area. Again, I feel like I'm stalling a lot because I don't think our system is really picking up on it. This is all really delayed. There it is. So our futurecast rotation tracks, you can actively see that everything is much further off towards the east as far as all this is concerned. So it's going to Raleigh and Fayetteville. I think it's the best chance for a tornado. And some of these could be a little bit longer track, especially if it's a singular cell that's all associated with this. So not a guarantee. This is not to scare you, just make you more weather aware heading into the afternoon. We're not deeming exactly as a weather aware day, but still you need to be aware that some of these storms are rolling through. So check out the development. Here's what our futurecast was showing about 10 a.m. This is always kind of a good baseline, seeing what it's predicting is going to be at this point, what the model was showing. This is pretty close. I think that you can disregard some of the green off towards the north, but it is picking up a lot of those more prevalent cells down to the south. Those are only going to enhance themselves as we work our way closer to noon. Notice those bright reds that are around Chester and Lancaster. And then this is only going to become more organized as you work your way towards 1, 2 o'clock. That's where you have Monroe, Wadesboro. At this point, you have a lot of spin to the atmosphere under that low pressure system. That's where things are going to be most treacherous, I think. So I'm not discounting the severe threat here in Charlotte. I just think it's going to be much worse the further east that you go. So that means we're going to have a chance for a severe thunderstorm warning, and you're even going to have a chance for just an isolated tornado embedded in this. The backside of this is also going to have a chance for a brief little line of maybe a second coming of the shower or thunderstorm. I think it's mainly going to be a few of those spotty showers as well. By the time you get to the end of the afternoon, I think we're going to actually see some sunshine on the backside of this. So that's always some good news. It's been crazy, though, the amount of rain that we've seen each weekend. It has been extremely active, and this just continues the streak. So high temperatures either side of 70 degrees. It's also going to get much breezier today. We are anticipating winds could be as high as 20 to 30 miles per hour outside of any thunderstorms. That's the way it works in Charlotte. Anytime you have a shallow rooted tree, sometimes it can topple over even with a gust of 30. So keep that in mind, especially with the saturated soil. Low temperatures down to the 40s. So this cold front that's going to pass is going to cool us down. And then we have our lows below normal for the next 5 days, and our high should be about 77 this time of the season. Well, it's gonna be May. We are stuck in the 60s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're not back to kind of May fashion until day 8, 9, and 10 of the new month. As I mentioned, it has been extremely interesting that every weekend there seems to be some sort of rain. Well, check this out. We are actually looking at rain next Saturday. That's right. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday should be dry. It's next Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that we start to up our rain potential. So it's not a guarantee. We know how much things can change, but this pattern has been absolutely absurd. That this is now officially the 8th weekend in a row that we have had some sort of measurable rainfall. That's either just on a Saturday, on a Sunday, or both Saturday and Sunday. It hasn't been until I think the first weekend of March that you've had a rain-free forecast. So each weekend continues this pattern. Also, this past Friday officially was the 9th day that we've had that it's rained on a Friday. So Friday has had the most rain. Saturday and Sunday each tied for second. So there it is. Severe weather potential. I would really say going forward now until about 2, 3 o'clock from Charlotte to the east. That's where you're going to have the best chance for all this activity. And I really see a better afternoon. There might be a spotty shower at the back end of that, but that's pretty much it. We also had another question about the race in Dover. If you're still watching, I can look at some of the models here. When is the race in Dover? I can look it up for you. But yeah, any other questions? I'll stick around for you guys for a couple more minutes if you got anything. If not, I'm gonna skedaddle. Let's see, Dover race. I love the Dover race, by the way. When is that? Da, 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 da. 1 p.m. All right, so let's look at some of the showers. Again, if you have any questions as I'm loading this up, I am here for you, my friends. This is brought to us by Brian. He's on YouTube, seeing what's happening. All right, so I'm going to access our future cast. What's happening with the NASCAR race in Dover? Uh, Looking ahead, most of the rain, by the way, is supposed to be in our area. So in the Carolinas mainly. So you guys aren't going to see as much up in Delaware. I can tell you that firsthand. Yeah, Brian, thank you very much. I'm working for you. Everything's moving so slow on my end, so I apologize for the stalling that I've had to go through here. But I'm just gonna do it on the computer for you. Brian, I'm here for you. That's the thing with these live videos. That this is mainly for you asking questions actively right now. I got you. All right. So I'm bringing up the HRRR. Let's bring up the most recent run to see what we got for race time. All righty. Yeah, because admittedly, buddy, I really focus on the Carolinas. All right, so Dover, Delaware, could get really interesting. It's not looking good, man. Honestly, looking at some of these runs, they've had a pretty wet track. Looks like there might be a brief break before more rain rolls in. I think we're looking at maybe Delay City here. I'm not sure how long they're going to postpone it, but you're looking at a pretty decent rainfall. Here, I'm going to walk away. So we have another computer at a different section for you, bud. It's crazy. Rations Charlotte, ZMAX Dragway. Any ideas what to create up? All right, I'm just forecasting races for you. All right, so what's happening at ZMAX? I think it's going to be wet track really up until about 2, 3. There's a slight chance of showers after that. But about that 1 to 2 o'clock window, we're really moving a lot off towards the east. So that's where most of the heavy rain is. So hopefully they can dry out the track. They're not talking about like a big speedway that they have to dry that stretch out. So I think they'll be able to get in. If they can hold off until the mid to late afternoon, that's looking good for you. So I like what's going on. And I'm going to bring up our future cast. I'm going to step away. Hold on. You hear me? I am here for you. All right. So wait for the black to come on back. So this right here is over the next 6 hours of our future cast. So you know where Dover is. You know where Delaware is. Notice right around race time that there's that little hole that develops. You still have some light to moderate rain in between you there, and you know that they can't mess around with that. But even with that hole, there's a lot of breaks. Look what's coming after that. So even if they get a break, they're going to see some much heavier rain. Meanwhile, looking at the same timing, this goes until 4 o'clock. Mark West, after 4 o'clock, I think you might be pretty much rain free. That's where the window really starts to close. You have sunshine that naturally dries out the track. So that's looking good. And then after that, we don't have rain for a while. Any more racing questions? That's kind of been the trend, or any other questions for me? If not, I'm going to hit the road. I'm still going to be here, your weatherman, looking after the storms here in Charlotte, because that's our main market of concern. But I'm here for you, Mark, Brian, Angel, Joy. Appreciate you joining me. And then if you have any other questions, still put it in there. I'll be here monitoring the storms. I appreciate you. Good to spend your Sunday with you. Make it a great day.